I was talking with a coach the other day, and they've actually had some real success. So when I say this, it's almost odd, but he was talking a lot about his aversion to selling, how much he just felt like every coach or every trainer, every business owner, they didn't like to sell. And I, I talked with him about it, but I'm like, man, it's not necessarily the case. I love to sell, and I've known a lot of people who love to sell because I think we see it as a value exchange. I don't like if you see sales as value extraction or the conclusion of a relationship, i.e., closing, maybe you're averse to it. But I love the idea of selling something and knowing that's really the commitment to a partnership to move forward, to help somebody achieve their goals, to help somebody down the path, and knowing that we're going to be able to help them, be their guide, be their mentor, provide templates, tools, solutions. And I think that when it comes to our industry, maybe that's why we often are cash flow poor. We're averse to selling. And so I would say that you need to look for more opportunities to sell in general. Heck, last year, just as almost like an experiment, I created a cash infusion, almost like a challenge, a 21-day program. It was really inexpensive. And every day I just nudged people towards being more proactive and actually asking for sales. Because I think that sometimes you just have to get out of your comfort zone and be willing to ask, be willing to sell, be willing to kind of just understand that if you sell ethically and it's an actual value exchange, selling is a good thing. Selling is giving somebody what they want in exchange for something that doesn't have as much value to them as the thing that you provided to them. And so when we did this cash infusion play, I started to unpack all these different options that people have at their disposal to create extra cash outside of just selling traditional memberships. A lot of people, they've kind of fallen into this trap. And in some ways, I guess I am to blame, even though it's evolved well beyond anything that we would have started. But we were pretty much at the forefront of coaching people to do subscription offers. We sold 12-month contracts in my first training business from day one. And in fact, over 90% of our training sales were 12-month contracts, very few 3 and 6 month, and no packages or anything like that. And at the time, people were very package heavy. They were, hey, buy a 6-pack or 12-pack or 24 or whatever. And it was prepay. So almost you had to be comfortable asking for money because it was just not automated. It was not just done for you. The burden fell to you to go ask for the next sale. And so it's like people have regressed a little bit because they do have these subscription-based sales. And so they can ask for a sale once and hopefully it just runs in perpetuity. But I think there are a lot of ways that we can create more cash flow in our business on top of our base membership. But I'll go even beyond that and talk to you about other ways that you can tack more cash onto your business. So the first thing that I would tell you, though, if you want to add cash to your business, find more problems to solve, find more solutions to the things that people are struggling with. If somebody comes to you and they want to train, they're training for an outcome. So if you have other things that you can provide to that person that might lead them to reach that outcome, they're pretty likely to be willing to invest in those things, whether it's nutrition coaching, whether it's supplement sales or recovery tools or home workout equipment or anything like that. Things that you may be able to add on that'll help get them results faster or solve problems that maybe they didn't want to have to go research and figure out how to solve on their own. You've got a number of options there. And then you can run specialty type programs or add-on programs that maybe people want to learn new skills. Maybe there are things that if somebody's in a group training program, they don't have the time or the individual attention during that kind of program to master more advanced kettlebell moves or something like that. Run workshops for that sort of thing. run specific workshops on things like recovery or back pain relief or whatever else that somebody may be interested in solving, but goes beyond the scope of what their basic program offers. So we can do that. We can tack on more sessions. If somebody's coming 2 times a week, that doesn't mean that they want to come 2 times a week for 52 weeks a year. Maybe there's certain periods that they want to come 3 or 4 times a week. Well, sell them upgrades. I think that we get so caught up in this subscription model. And again, I mean, we were offering a subscription model over 20 years ago now. And it's so convenient. It's so comfortable for us. But I remember about a decade ago, I had launched my current business, had sold my stake in my previous organization, and we wanted to go do things like take vacations and whatever else. And I didn't want to necessarily tap into my kind of subscription-based cash flow. So it was like, hey, any kind of additional experiential thing that we wanted to do, if we wanted to go take a vacation or something, man, I need to sell something separate to pay for that. And that meant that I could still put money away in retirement. I could put money away in just general savings, pay the bills, and never disrupt my cash flow, because it's like, hey, I'll sell a one-time consulting session, a strategic planning session. I'd take on an individual private consulting client for a couple months. And those types of things forced me to say, okay, I'm going to create more cash flow. And you could do that as well, because if you have a unique set of skills or talents or ability to solve problems or whatever else, you can go out there and offer those to people in different formats than maybe your common format looks like. But I'll tell you, there are other things that we can do where it's almost like we overlook some obvious stuff. If you've ever joined a health club, typically there's an enrollment fee. We charged an enrollment fee in my early training business, the health club that I owned. And it wasn't that we were trying to really burden the buyer, but we wanted to have this kind of grandiose onboarding and welcome package. We gave people a duffel bag and a shirt and water bottle and some of these things. And instead of dipping into those first month's dues, we took it out of the enrollment fee so we could fund creating something that was an even better experience. Now, that meant that we could do both, right? We could still pay ourselves that first month and be profitable and create cash flow for us, but we could also provide some things that if we wouldn't have charged that enrollment fee, we wouldn't have had the ability to provide and still be profitable in month one with that client. I mean, you see health clubs do it all the time where they'll have an annual maintenance fee or facility fee or something like that. And from an ethical standpoint or an integrity standpoint, if you are making upgrades, you can do that, right? Like where you see a lot of gyms do it in the health club world is they'll charge that, but they're not actually improving the facility or doing any extra maintenance or anything like that. But if you're continually trying to upgrade things, and whether it's adding new equipment or doing some painting or some renovations or anything like that, charging an one-time fee annually of $25, if you've got 200 clients, that's $5,000 that you're investing into creating a better experience for clients. And because you're charging that and you're upfront about it, you have the ability to not tap into your profit. So there's more cash flow for you. And I'll tell you the last one that we did during this kind of cash infusion challenge that I did not so long ago was I just told people to go grab stuff that they had sitting around that they weren't using. I don't care if they had a printer they had replaced, if they had some equipment that they had replaced, if they had some stuff that they weren't using anymore. Go sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Go get in the habit of creating value exchanges. Price things fairly, make it so that the person that you're doing business with feels like they're getting a good deal. But get in the habit of going out there and saying, it's okay if I ask for money, if I'm giving fair or even better than fair value in exchange. And once you get in that habit, you understand that you have these talents and skills and strengths that maybe a lot of people don't, and they're kind of averse to selling. Well, you know that you can create cash pretty much whenever you want it if you're willing to kind of turn those on. So if you've fallen into this trap of saying, hey, I'm just going to funnel people into our subscription program and that's the only way I can make money and things are tight or whatever else. You know what? Go sell. Be proactive in selling. Find things that are of value to other people and create that value exchange. You want to be able to generate cash flow for you, find ways to serve them, and you'll create as much cash as you need.